All right, welcome. This is Mr. Humbard here. So let's start this assignment. This is our person riding a bike. It's an equation of motion, which means that it follows this form of x equals x initial plus, or this is x final equals x initial plus velocity times the time. And it follows this format. So we want to know the bike at 2 seconds, and we're given this equation. We know this is our initial velocity, vi. We know this is our velocity, or not initial velocity, initial position. And that is our time. We just plug in that value. We're going to get 6.4 plus 5.4 times 2, plug in that value, 10.8 plus 6.4, we're going to get 7.2, it looks like, plus 10, so 17.2. Our second one, at what time is the bike at this location? 24. We just plug in the value for x. X is 24, well then we plug it in. 24 equals 6.5 plus 4.3 times the time. So from here, we subtract 24 minus 6.5, and we're going to get, because let me just subtract 6.5 both sides. Then that will cancel that out. And this is going to be, looks like 15.5 equaling 4.3 times time. Then we divide out 4.3 to both sides. And our time is going to be 15.5 over 4.3. It looks like I made a small mistake here. 24 minus 6.5 is 17.5, not 15.5. There's my mistake right there. Doing math in your head sometimes is a bad idea. And that makes sense too. All right, so 17.5 divided by 4.3. And that's going to give me 4.06976. And from there, I need to round this to 1 decimal. So 4.1, because that's the first decimal, x.x, and that is the second one, which is bigger than 5, so we round that up, 4.1. So if we want to know which is moving faster, it's going to be player 1, because even though it's negative, it just means he's moving in the other direction. So negative 3.1 or positive 2.8. Negative 3.1 is bigger, so that one's the larger number. And it's about the magnitude, not about the actual value. So this is bigger than that value. Right? So when these players collide, they collide when they intersect. And when they intersect, the x's have to equal each other. So x1 equals x2. And that means that 0.79 minus 3.1 time equals negative 5.8 plus 1.9 time. So from here, we have to solve this. So we're going to add 5.8 to both sides. It's my first instinct. If I add 3.1 to both sides, put 1 time to both sides, that should sort things out and give me one side and the other side. So 5.8 plus 7.79 is going to be 6.59 equaling 3.1 plus 1.9 is going to be 5 times the time. Then I get 6.59. I'm going to divide both sides by 5. And this is going to give me my answer, I think. 6.59 divided by 5. 1.318, and that's x.x, so time is 1.318 seconds, or just 1.3. Alright, so we have Black Lab runs to pick up the stick, x equals 3.7. I want to find Cleo at time equals 1.57. This part doesn't really matter because the equation of motion is given as so. This is just when he runs to pick up the stick. We could find that time, but it doesn't really give us a reason to really care about it. They just ask about where Cleo is at this particular time. And they give us the equation of motion so we can find that. So it's going to be negative 12.1 plus 5.2 times the 1.57. And that's going to give us our answer. Negative 12.1 plus 5.2 times 1.57, or negative 3.936. And that's going to be in meters. And if it's x.x, that's going to be 3.9 with just a 9 there. Right? So, next one, the last two, is where he picks up the stick at this location. If we want to find the time he picks up the stick, then we plug in this value and we solve that out. So 3.9 equals negative 12.1 plus 5.2 time. Add that to both sides, you're going to get plus 12.1 plus 12.1, and we're going to get 16 equals 5.2 t. Divide 5.2 to both sides. Time equals 16 divided by 5.2, 3.0769. Oh, that's not what I wanted. 6, 9, and we'll stop here. We know there's more, but we only want x.x, and here's our x.x, x.x, and that next value is a 7, so we have to round that up to 3.1, it looks like. That's our answer. So when they pass each other, that would imply that they intersect. And we want the time. It doesn't really matter where the soccer ball rests. They're talking about two players. They're going towards the ball, but they're not directly related to what the ball's doing. So when each player passes each other, that means they have to equal each other. So -8 plus 4.6 time equals -7 plus 3.3 time. At this point, we just solve this. So first thing I'll do is could add 8 to both sides. And then I could subtract -3.3t to both sides. And once I do that, I'll get 1.3t equals 1, because everything else was nicely canceled. And then I'll do 1 over 1.3, and I should get 0.769, or it's x.xx. So it looks like 0.769 is going to turn into 0.77. And that's going to be your answer.